We now have 82 normal legendary heroes in Watcher of Realms, and in this video I will rank all of them. I've created different tiers that we can divide them into, and I will break all of that down in this video.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
Also, guys, videos like this are a lot of work. It is a work of love, right? This is a bit of a passion project kind of thing, but it's still work. So if you appreciate it, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. All right, let's go. At the time of filming this, we do have a lucky pick banner that is about to start. And because of that, this has become maybe my most requested video of all time. So right now in Watcher of Realms on March 18th, 2026, Guan Yu is about to arrive in game. And Guan Yu is a phenomenal hero. He is going to immediately enter the game and immediately become one of the strongest damage dealers there is, simply put. However, his banner is extra spicy because they have made this a lucky pick invocation. Essentially, this banner is Guan Yu and a choose your own hero. You will get to select another legendary hero from the normal pool of legendary heroes in this game, excluding lords, that will also get put on 20x rate up alongside Guan Yu. And that is pretty tremendous. Now, before we dive in, I've got to quickly define what a normal legendary hero is. A normal legendary hero is one that is always available. Even when there are no special banners, there's no exclusive event, there's no special currency, you can summon for these units. So right now, I'm filming on a random Wednesday when there are no special event banners live, meaning it's just the standard rare summoning diamond banner, the Invocation of Spirits, and the standard legendary summoning banner, the Divine Summoning. So if you ever want to know what this pool of heroes is, you can go to one of these banners, click on details, and simply look. Once you exclude the lords, these 7 legendary lords up here and Iax, we have got, at the time of filming this, 82. The list always goes from Zealous all the way down to the most recently added legendary heroes in the game. So at the time of filming this, the most recent are Rivenal, Rosalia, and Knight Arlot. However, obviously when Guan Yu comes out, he is going to be a normal hero, so he will make number 82. So without further ado, let's rate all of these. Let's put them into the tier list. This process is going to be a bit different than in previous videos. This is something I've done twice before. You can see here 5 months ago, I ranked all 74 normal legendaries. 4 months ago, I rated all 76 normal legendaries. We used to get these lucky pick banners a lot more frequently. Now, it's been over 4 months since the last time this happened, so we have 6 more legendaries to add. The pool of normal legendary heroes is rising from 76 up to 82. And because I've done this twice before on a very similar tier list, I can actually go back to the old tier list where I had everything, and we can kind of move things around. So this is actually going to go pretty quickly. I am going to read off the name of every single hero, and then if they need to be adjusted, I will adjust them. If I need to explain something, I will explain it, but very often I will just go, Lynx, still actually bad. She stays in the actually bad tier. Moving on. It will be that simple. You can see, though, I've added a new tier. This tier is tier 0.5, so I've just placed it somewhere between tier 1 and tier 0. Tier 0 previously included the very, very best normal legendary heroes in this game. Now it is going to be the very, 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 very best, the absolute no discussion, no-brainer choices for the top normal legendary units in Watcher of Realms, and thus the top options to be picked for the lucky pick invocation when it does come out. These are going to be the no-brainer options. The only thing you'll have to think about is if you're missing multiple, that's where you will decide. But I am going to be moving stuff around. Tier 0.5, these will also be the cream of the crop, top tier, god tier, normal legendary units. They just might come with some condition. So let me give you an example right now. Nerissa, amazing must-have unit, but she's not as unique as she used to be. Draylin is performing phenomenally lately in AoE damage reduction content. Faircy is the OG option. She's still amazing. If you have everyone that ends up in the tier 0, you could definitely go get her and pair her on the banner. For example, I chose her the last time they did one of these lucky pick banners. She's that good, but you'll see once this shakes out, tier 0 is going to be a lot tighter than it used to be. However, Nerissa was just an example. We're going to move our way up the tier list from bottom to top, I just wanted to explain what this new tier 0.5 is. So first things first, we have 6 new pullable normal legendary units to be placed in the tier list, and then we'll start at actually bad, see if any of those guys need to be moved, then go to don't choose, meaning these units aren't actually bad, but you shouldn't choose them for a choice selector banner like this one with the lucky pick. Then we've got tier 1. These are excellent units that are the ones you should choose from if you have all the units in tier 0 and tier 0.5. And then obviously we already explained these tippy top 2 tiers. So let's kick things off with Astriel. Astriel recently got a big buff. He also recently was added to the normal legendary summoning pool. Previously, he was not a pullable champion. Now he is. He's definitely not bad, especially after his buff. He's got good use in Malric trials in the Halls of Illusion. He's not super elite, but he definitely can be used effectively there. And since his buff, he's actually a very viable progression option for single target bosses. That being said, he's definitely not actually bad, but he's definitely not someone you should choose. So he does not fit into tier 0, tier 0.5, tier 1, or tier 2. He's gonna go in don't choose. Next up, we have Adrian. Adrian is phenomenal. He is unbelievably good. His actual DPS is so underrated. He is so powerful when you actually can build him out for just damage. And even if you want to build him for tankiness, because his shields are so constant and consistent, you can still get away with a very high DPS build on him while leaning heavily into tankiness. I love him. I think he's an excellent option. I'm going to put him in tier 1 right now. There's a small chance I might bump him up to tier 0.5, but I think he's just a very, very good unit for tier 1. Now, that is not to say he's bad. Look at the other units in tier 1. We've got Vorn, we've got Beatrix, Yuri, Silas, Numera, some of the absolute best. So he belongs up here, but he's not going to make the tippy top of the list. He's someone you're going to work your way down to if you have the units that shake out to be the tier 0 and the tier 0.5 heroes. Now we've got Knight Arlot. Knight Arlot is a fantastic tank. If you can get him A1, he has really, really good vulnerability. He's very versatile. He could easily grow a lot in the game after I film this video, but right now, he's just a great tank. I don't see any extra stuff he's bringing to the table besides being a great tank. If some new meta evolves with the big buff that's coming to Soul Cadence at the time of filming this, or with the new Infernal Legendary Lord that should be coming fairly soon, he easily could be moved up this list. But right now, I would have to put him with the Lyras and the Comets of the world. A great hero, super usable hero, a hero you should be thrilled to pull, but a hero that you should not be choosing, right? Unless for some reason you had every single unit above him. He's probably borderline tier 2. I mean, frankly, the fact that Allura gets to be here means that he probably should be, but frankly, as a tank, I just think there are so many good tank options. You shouldn't be choosing a tank for this if it's not Draylon. I mean, that's just how I feel. Next up, we have Rosalia, a brilliant DPS, absolutely top tier in Matrix 1, a hard carry, one of the best units in the entire game for Gear Aid 1, very good for progression as well, absolutely broken for Conquer. I think you see where I'm headed with this. To be super tippy top tier as a DPS, you kind of have to be Naza, as you can see. A little spoiler alert, Hotset is going to be dropping down the list a little bit, but she definitely deserves to be high up this list, and she's going to go in tier 1. So we'll put her right there next to Adrian. I think she's about as powerful and unique as a lot of these other guys like Virna and Silas and Beatrix and Yuri, Valise. You kind of get it. She's probably a notch above a Valise, for example, so maybe we'll look into how we split up the units between tier 0.5 and tier 1. There is going to be movement, don't worry. But for now, we're going to put her in tier 1. Now we've got Guan Yu. Guan Yu is an absolute menace. He is going to be phenomenal for progression. He deals a huge amount of damage. He has one of the best executes in the entire game. I've put out a lot of content on him. Obviously, you cannot choose him for this banner, so technically, he should go in don't choose, or frankly, can't choose, because he's already on the banner at the time of filming this, but I want this tier list to function well into the future after this banner when people just want to know who are the best normal units in the game. So right now, I'm going to put Guan Yu at the tippy top of tier 1, but we got to see how we start filling out tier 0.5, because it is super possible he might be getting bumped up. Now we've got Ruin Hollow. This is pretty tricky. He's a great invisible unit, but his damage is a bit underwhelming. There are more creative uses for him people have discovered recently, but I do not think I can justify ever suggesting him to be chosen on this banner. I don't see how that's relevant for any person. I also don't think he deserves to be higher than better units like Arlot and Lyra and Comet. Heck, even Anai for a lot of content, you know, with Burning becoming more relevant. So I'm going to put him, this isn't in order, but just to prove a point, I'm going to put him somewhere in the middle of Don't Choose. Keep in mind, there are great units in Don't Choose. Malric is in Don't Choose. Valkyria is in Don't Choose. If we're talking progression, Salazar is in Don't Choose. Tallulah, Valeria. You know, we've got great units here. He's going to be somewhere like there. This isn't in an order. Lucius is here, right? There are great units, but no one should be choosing him. He belongs there. He is like an average quality, has a specific use unit who will not grow well with the game unless he gets buffed. So that cleans up our 6 new units that had to be put onto the list. Now let's go category by category and see who we have to move around. So this category at the bottom is reserved for units that are actually just bad. Like, they don't really have a saving grace. They're pretty irrelevant. Yeah, there might be one thing you could use them in, maybe, but they're not the top option for anything, and they're units you should be disappointed to pull. Some might have to get bumped down the list to here from Don't Choose, because Don't Choose, if we can redefine that, is the group of units that might actually be pretty good, but you just should not be choosing for one reason or another when there's a lucky pick selector banner. So let's kick this off with the units who are already in actually bad, and let's just be real. They're all going to stay here. None of these guys have gotten buffs. Nothing's changed in the game to all of a sudden make Azor or Magnus or Fenris relevant. You know, some of these units are better than others, right? Fenris obviously is a lot more usable than Lynx or Azor, but they're all bad. They all don't have a place in this game. Cerberus is probably the best of the bunch by a lot, but the game has just passed Cerberus by. So these are units that are bad. You can be upset to pull them. There might be one specific random use, but frankly, they feel like mediocre epics. These guys are bad. So Cerberus, he's the best of the bunch, but he's going to stay here. Abomination, he's good for very early game progression, and then I'd say he's irrelevant at this point in the current state of the game. Absent is called Aspan for a reason. Fenris is one of the better units here as well, but I mean, he's outclassed by so many other options, it's just not important. Magnus has always kind of sucked and nothing's changed. Kineza actually is about as bad as we have in the game right now. We've gotten so many more fighters still, so many more good units, so much more content that she's not good at. Her dodge mechanic is like non-functional. Is that the word? Unfunctional? It does not work. It is trash. She is defunct. She is terrible. Orym has always sucked booty cheeks. Shamir's been sucking the cheeks right next to him. Oh my god, these guys suck. Azor, and then Lynx goes at the end, because Lynx is a creep, and she sucks. I will say, at the time of filming this, they just announced a buff for Lynx on the Forerunner server, so there's a chance maybe she'll suck a little less. But that buff, I read through it, might make her better. It certainly will make her better, but it will never make her better enough for her to actually be anywhere relevant on this list. She sucks. Let's move on. So, Don't Choose. Comet, one of the best examples of this category. He is great. He is one of the best AoE mages in the game for progression, but that's not something you're choosing on a special banner, right? Comet is someone you can be happy to pull when you get him, but that's about it, right? You're eventually going to outgrow him, or you should be planning to outgrow him, because Boreas exists, and Beatrice exists, and Valise exists, and Virna, and so on and so on. The game has passed him by a bit. He needs a buff. He's still very relevant. You can be happy if you have a younger account to pull him. You will make use of him. You can confidently skill him up, but you should never be like going out of your way to try to get him at this point in the game. Lyra is very similar. She did recently just get a very big buff that probably puts her ahead of Comet. If you haven't seen yet, Lyra is completely dominant in Nightmare 4. She does need huge awakenings, but she is so good, and it's cool to see because I've always just loved her. I think she's one of the coolest hero designs in the game. Lyra, boom, A5, putting up ungodly damage, 612 million. You do need those awakenings, you do need to lean on her, but wow, is she pretty freaking awesome now? Yeah, but I would still say she's not someone you should be seeking out and choosing. She's probably right on the borderline. Now, this rating could easily change with the new buff coming to Soul Cadence and with the new Legendary Lord for the Infernal Blast faction coming. That could quickly send her into tier 2. Who knows? With new content and a new synergy, she could even be a little higher. I don't really know. But right now, she's going to remain in Don't Choose at the time of filming this because people shouldn't choose her, but she is really, really good. Frankly, maybe for next time, let me know if you want me to do it right in the comment section. Maybe I need to split these guys up because some of these Don't Choose guys obviously are a lot better than others. We already talked about Arlot. Ares still has his niche for progression in Abyss 1, but that's about it. He definitely needs a buff. They need to put some AoE into his kit, and they need to make him tankier. Solid unit, don't choose him. Anai might see a big, huge surge in relevance with the infernal stuff that's coming. She's one of the best burners in the game, but aside from that, she's not very special. Callista is borderline actually bad. I'm going to drop her down here. Her damage is okay. Her knockback is okay. We have so many other heroes in the game whose damage is better than okay, and we have a lot of knockback units now whose knockback is better than okay. She's not actually bad enough to go in actually bad, but she's definitely a don't choose. Calypso, she can deal a lot of damage, but she's pretty niche, and you definitely need awakenings. Don't choose her. Cratch is going to fall down into actually bad. Don't worry, some units will move around. He had his moment in Matrix 1 when it first came out, and we needed physical DPS options. I don't think anyone needs to lean on Cratch anymore, and frankly, he needs so many awakenings for that to work to begin with. He had to get knocked down. Now we got Edith. She's bad, but she's so good at her knockback. She's the best, easiest hero to use for that, so I cannot justify putting her in actually bad, but she's pretty bad. And we don't even need the knockback anymore for the highest levels of Gear Dungeon 2, so just know she kind of sucks, but I can't put her all the way down. Glacius still one day could be relevant if we had more of a DPS-oriented Northerner Lord. You know, in a way that was Rivenhauled, but he doesn't synergize enough with his shields, though he does synergize with it. Glacius doesn't synergize enough to get like huge damage out of the shields. He's something, don't choose him. Let's keep moving. Helga's okay, tons of stuns. Valkyria is one of the better units here, but you're gonna outgrow her. We have too many good melee options now. Can be happy to get her early on, but definitely don't choose her. Korea is gonna go in actually bad. She made don't choose last time just as a nod to her prowess on GVG defense when you have a lot of awakenings. She's still not that good right now. It's not like she's tippy top meta. You still need so many awakenings, and she still sucks everywhere else. She's going to go in actually bad. Corridor, just a good tank. There are way better options. Knight Arlot's much better, and he's still in this category, so Corridor's a definitely don't choose kind of unit. Lasier's actually bad. Officially, he's actually terrible. Thunkles, thank God, just made Lasier unusable, and I love that. Lasier has only had one saving grace for as long as he's been in the game. He was the first anti-healer ever added, and then since then we've gotten more and more anti-healers that are all better than him. However, we never had an epic anti-healer, so Lasier had to get a nod, because you'd say, hey, if you're stuck with him, if he's your only one, you gotta use him. Now we've got Thunkles. He's an epic. He's come out right at the time of filming this, and he is objectively much better than Lasier at everything, including anti-heal. So Lasier, enjoy your spot next to Lynx. You suck and I hate you. Malric is super usable in Abyss 1. He's got other little niche things for progress. You shouldn't choose him, but you can potentially be excited to pull him if you've got like one amazing DPS that you want to lean on. Malric can take that DPS to another level. I used him in my first ever 60k Abyss 1 run. Like, that is definitely something, but don't choose him. Maw, I think Maw can go in actually bad. The only saving grace he had was how high his BP is naturally. But frankly, that's not enough anymore. We have enough other BP options, and don't choose him. He actually is bad. He's pretty unusable. Kind of a disgrace to the game, I would say. Micah, Permanent Fusion, pretty unplayable right now. She's not as bad as these guys, so I can't put her there. But actually, as I say it, like, she's kind of like similar to Fenris. Now, for progression, she's really good, but definitely don't choose her. Really good's a stretch. For progression, she's usable. It's hard to get good single target magic damage, and she's got that. So she can't go in actually bad, but she's no good. Unfortunately, Nocturne has had the game passing by. Lots of true damage, but other people have lots of true damage and a lot of other stuff. Nocturne doesn't really have any other stuff. He actually needs a buff, is what I'd say. He'd be on my list of units that are not terrible, but definitely still need a buff. Razak is a pretty good bursty AoE piercing damage unit, but we have a lot of those now, and a lot of them are better. So Razak cannot be any higher than this. He just is what he is. He also can't be an actually bad, because he's not actually bad. He's just not good. But you could get 221 with Razak very easily. Regulus can go right next to Crowdor, wherever I put Crowdor. Again, the order here is not real exactly. I'm just trying to illustrate stuff. He's just like a really serviceable tank. Cool. Don't choose him. Now we've got Salazar. Boy, has the game passed Salazar by. What a sad guy. He was the best fighter in the game when it came out. He's definitely not that anymore. Don't choose him. Celine is very close to actually bad. You know what? I'm going to put her towards the top of actually bad. If Fenris is here, she should be here. She needs Giselle to be relevant. Giselle sucks. And then you have to get Giselle to make her relevant. And even then, her relevance is basically irrelevance because it's just one quirk. She's got like super high single target magic vulnerability. The damage sucks. She needs a huge buff. She's got one buff. She needs more buffs. She can go in actually bad. Seraphina, I hate to say it, but if Fenris is here, Seraphina has to be here. She's unusable. Even for progression, you're probably just going to lean on epics. Really ill-conceived. She had a super brief moment like 2+ years ago in single target arena, and that was really it. She's a terrible faction for that as well. I guess maybe something with Nastia could work if she got like a huge buff. Seraphina, that is. Nastia's already fantastic. She has to go in actually bad. We're filling this out a little bit more. Let's keep it going. We're at Tallulah. Tallulah's pretty usable. She's really nice in certain strategies for Matrix 1. She's super usable in APOC 2. That being said, she's not a great healer. You need her exclusive artifact. You need her exclusive piece of gear. You need good gear. She's definitely not bad enough to go in actually bad, but she belongs here. She's like a very serviceable support with some late borderline endgame relevance. Trusk, not bad enough to go in actually bad, but they've done him dirty. He needs a buff. Give him a buff. He actually has good damage capability, or could have it if they made him scale a little better, so hopefully they do that. Valeria was recently buffed. That can shoot her way up this list. Not enough to get her out of Don't Choose, but just know if you get her early on, she's very usable as a single target DPS. Xena is too niche to be higher than this, but she is good at what she's good at. Zealous 2 needs a buff. I think they gave her the tiniest buff, but she used to be one of the queens of the game, and at this point, you could be almost disappointed to pull her if your account is older than 2 months. Lucius is fantastic in a couple specific ways, but that's kind of it. The main utility he has is his Dispel, which is kind of clunky to use, so his key use is just being a crazy good DPS, but until he gets dual faction membership in Star Piercers, I just don't think it's enough. Really, really good progression single target DPS though. Really he is. Just never use his manual ult, and you'll be very impressed by his damage. Tail end here, Sadie, very niche use for her final damage reduction. It used to be called Delayed Death or something. I forget exactly the word for it because they changed it. It's called Final Damage Reduction now. She's one of 2 units in the game who has it. It is going to be her and Draylin. They also just announced a buff for Eunomia where she's going to get like a baby version of Final Damage Reduction. With Sadie, I mean, it's really good. You don't need it. The only place you really need Final Damage Reduction is going to be Gear Raid 2, 22, 23, and 24. Draylin is a much better option than Sadie. Nowadays in takeovers for those high stages, and I do those almost every day, I will always choose Draylin over Sadie. That being said, if you don't have Draylin, you're going to use Sadie, so she cannot go in actually bad, but she can definitely not go higher. Zarus, a bit niche, bursty DPS when you put him down. Looks like he's the last one of this category. He's going to stay right here. And frankly, as I look at it, Micah is going to get dropped down to actually bad, which is quite sad. But there we go. That is going to make up our Don't Choose category. No promotions to Tier 2. As you can see, the potential vertical movement is all going to happen in the middle here. None of these guys were going to go from Don't Choose to, oh, maybe choose them. All right, Tier 2. Some people might be going down to Don't Choose, though. Ezrein, he's definitely going down here. Pretty cool healer. His mechanic to heal all over the map is quite nice. The reason he got the bump is because he was one of the couple serviceable tanks in Matrix 1. We've got a lot more options now. Adrian came to the game. People found out a great Sun Wukong strategy. That alone makes Ezrein push down. Phineas, borderline Tier 1. I would say he's very, very good in Abyss. He's very good in Gear Dungeon 2. Kind of a tough call here. We'll see how this shakes out with Tier 0.5, but I'm going to keep him at the very top of Tier 2 in case I bump him up. I will say Magda already is getting bumped up. She's so good in Matrix. She's so good as a DPS, and then with her passive that gives a damage boost and penetration to nearby allies. It's just a lot. She's pretty special. She's not going to be higher than this, but she's definitely going in Tier 1. Arrogance, they buffed him. He used to be like the king of the game. He's been power crept harder than anyone in the game, I would say. Him and Twyla, no one's been power crept harder than these guys. They definitely are not Don't Choose candidates because they'll help you so much for progression, but you probably shouldn't choose them at this point. The fact that he got a buff and it basically didn't change his damage at all is an embarrassment. They had us vote on it. People voted on Arrogance, and they gave him one of the worst buffs ever. Eris, really, really good damage. Very specific where you use him, but he's very good. Gear Dungeon 1, Conqueror, any general AoE progression. He definitely belongs here. Artemis, I'm going to say goes to Don't Choose now. So the same way Lysyr went from Don't Choose to actually bad, Artemis is going from Tier 2 to Don't Choose. Just because, are you really going to build an Artemis once you have Thunkles, who's going to do basically exactly what Artemis does? No, you're not. So Artemis is going to be, I don't know, let's put him here next to Tallulah. He gets dropped down. Brokir and Malvira can stay exactly here. These are 2 of the best tanks in the game. You know, maybe there's an argument Knight Arlot should be right next to them, but frankly, I don't think any of these ones should be chosen. I just think we can't rank them too low because they're so good. If you want to yell at me and say Knight Arlot should be right here, by all means, maybe you're right. I'm going to leave it like this. Constance, I'm going to put her down and don't choose now. It's kind of crazy, but we have enough inspiration options now. They've been running Diao Chan constantly. Yes, she's the only melee inspiration in the game besides Rivenal. Is that enough? No. I mean, you don't really need melee inspiration. You got Rivenal, you're going to use him. And if you don't have him, maybe once in a while I'll use Constance, but you shouldn't go seeking her out. You know, she's definitely not bad. But, if you got Diao Chan, you're using Diao Chan 98% of the time, and frankly, you might be using Dolores a chunk of the time too. Or Beelzebub, who you can see is going to stay right at the top of this list. He is that freaking good right now. So Constance gets a drop. Kai and Nyx can stay right here. The two best AoE marksman options in the game besides Van Helsing, who obviously is not a normal hero. He's event limited, so they should both be here. Nyx beats Kai in DPS. I would say overall, for most progression stuff, Kai beats Nyx in terms of good enough DPS plus his utility. His passive boosts the damage of other marksmen. Setrum is excellent, obviously. He's just a little too specific to be higher than this, but he's going to stay there. I'll say Zealous is borderline tier 1 at this point. He is completely awesome in Gear Dungeon 1, in Gear Raid 1, and now he's been getting amazing play in Matrix. He might get bumped up. He got such a big buff, and it was so good. So compare that to Arrogance, who's right next to him, who got I guess kind of a big buff. They changed a few things, but they didn't change anything. He didn't get stronger. Zealous became a new character. Arrogance got 2% better. So they did Arrogance really dirty. I wanted to bring that back up. But Zealous, amazing now. He's finally as good a hero as his aesthetic suggests he would be. That's pretty fun. We got Alora. I'm going to say she's don't choose. We have Ruin Hollow now, who's an option. So the fact that we have a second option makes me want to not choose her. There's also a lot of other ways to do it now. Shout out to Almighty Sword, who found out a really clever thing to get going with Mina. Sure, you need Mina, but at least there are other options between Ruin Hollow, between the Lady Mina strategy, and honestly, the fact that like you only need those kind of things very deep, like you can still easily beat through stage 22 without it. No one should be choosing her. She needs to be bumped down. Finally, Boreas, he's gonna go at the very back end of this, but just for a comparison, right? He's just like a little bit more usable and relevant than a Comet or a Lyra or a Valkyra. That's why he's in this tier, not the other. And then Ryzen, I mean, he's just so good. So good for Abyss 1, so good for Nightmare 4, nice for progression. He is niche, but he's so good at that niche, he needs to be here. And he gives us an option that isn't some super overpowered limited that you need tons of awakenings for. Ryzen is already good at A0, he gives you flexibility. Sergei's coming, but that's an ancient exclusive who you're going to want awakenings on too. So I want him here. There's a couple people that might want to pick him if they have a bunch of other stuff and they're missing him. All right, does anyone else need to be moved around up? Maybe Phineas, let's put him at the back. Maybe Zealous, and that is it. Let's look at tier 1 now and start thinking already, does anyone need to go down, but also does anyone need to go up? Guan Yu, I'm going to already kind of put him up. The damage is very legit. It's pretty special stuff, and it's very endgame relevant. I don't see why he wouldn't be ranked this high. If we keep looking through, does anyone else jump out at us? Numera obviously needs a bump now that we have this other category. I partially conceived this category because I was like, Numera needs to be higher. Adrian is awesome, but is going to stay there just because he's a little more specific. Rosalia is borderline. Let's put her at the back now. Valise definitely does not need to be in that just off the tippy top tier. Yuri definitely does not either. Frankly, Yuri should be, yeah, right here next to like Magda and Lord Phineas. Aelin probably does need to be bumped up. I mean, her healing is just so relevant and needs to be there. Silas, this is a tough call, so take this with nuance, right? But Silas, if he's bonded, probably does need to be here, or frankly, if you're thinking about who to choose, if you have Virna already, then you definitely want to choose Silas. If you're missing both, I think you're in a tough spot. Virna will stay here because she's a great AoE mage, great DPS, really good execute, and she could be a great choice because you'd get her and you get the Silas bond if you already have Silas, but she's not as good as Silas, so she can't be bumped up. Hex is not going to get bumped up. He's going to stay right here. Valise will stay here. Vorn is borderline, but I think he's a little too specific to go higher, but he is pretty special, so we'll put him here. Beatrix, I don't think I've mentioned her. Completely phenomenal, but I'd say outside of progression, she falls off a little bit in terms of relevance. So when you get her, if you have a younger account, she is an enormous carry. Then I would say when you reach the end game, she's good in like 2 places. So she can stay there in tier 1, but she cannot be higher. Talon, she's really just here because she's probably the most versatile hero in the game. She's essentially 2 heroes. She's not going to go higher though. And then I think we've talked about everyone else, and I do think I'm comfortable leaving Zealous here. I'm a little bit borderline actually on Phineas and Yuri. These are the 2 I'm wavering on. I mean, for example, I think both these guys are more relevant and choosable, let's put it that way, selectable for a banner like this in modern day Watcher of Realms compared to like an Arrogance, but compared to a Ryzen, I don't know, it's kind of tough. I think I'll leave them here, but just put them at the end, so here's a little visual indicator. Now, Tier 0.5, we filled this all out from scratch, so we know none of these guys are going to move. To wrap up this video and to end it, does anyone need to move down? Who gets to stay in tier 0? Who are the ultimate no-brainers? And who has to get moved down? I'm not going to tease you. Let's get right into it. Elowyn, you're going down. Hotset, you're going down. These are your 4. I'm going to say borderline Ireless is going to go down. She would be at the top of 0.5, but I will leave her. In my opinion, these 3, Beelzebub, Draylen, and Nezha, are in a league of their own for how good they are. We can definitely put Hotset and Nerissa way up here with Elowyn too, but these guys needed to be in a class of their own. Ireless, obviously, is so good and needs to be there. The reason I'm not putting her in that top 3, even though she makes the top 4, the 4 units alone that fill out this tier, is just because Ireless and Elowyn are very interchangeable for progression. Actually, for progression in a couple ways, Elowyn will be better than Ireless. However, Ireless needs to get that top spot and be in that top group, even if I'm putting her behind these 3, because she is so obviously the best choice for so many things in the endgame. She is the best healer. She's so good for GVG defense. She is so good for rage regen, just a little bit better than Elowyn. She needs to be here. She also has 2 brilliant factions, so she gets to stay there. But to conclude, I guess let's talk about Hotset and Elowyn really quickly. Hotset's just amazing. It's just, she's not as universal and versatile as a DPS as she used to be, though she's still that, but she's not Nezha, basically. I wanted him to be in a tier of his own. And then Nerissa we covered. Elowyn, it's just when you reach the end game, she's just like the worst version of Ireless. So now that we have another tier, we can split them up. But for progression, there are a couple places where Elowyn will be better, right? APOC 2, for most accounts, she's going to be better. Based on her actual healing range and the way it expands when she ults, she's going to be better. I just did a Nightmare 4 takeover where I got this guy 112,000 blood today, over doubled his previous best score, and I chose Elowyn over Ireless because I had my Sun Wukong just out of range. Elowyn could cover that with her expanding ult range. Ireless couldn't. So she's still really special, but when you reach the really important stuff, when you get really deep in the game, Ireless gets the edge. So we talked about Ireless, we talked about everyone else below Ireless. Let's talk about the top 3. Beelzebub is completely one of one. There is no one like him. He can do like 12 things, and he's doing almost all those things at the highest level. He's doing them all at a good level, and then there are multiple things he's doing that no one else can do. The range is perfect. His ability to heal and put out faction-specific AoE damage reduction is unbelievable. His crowd control is amazing. His attack speed boost is amazing for summons. He's got so much in that kit. He is a god of this game. He is completely a top 5 non-lord unit. Draylen, similarly, she is the best melee healer we've got. She's the best final damage reduction healer we've got. She's a good shielder. Once you got her A1, she has a huge damage boost. She is just completely insane, incredible, amazing. And then Nezha, I think, pound for pound, is probably the best DPS in the game. That's not saying, oh, he's better than Guan Yu, oh, he's better than Valara, oh, he's better than Ingrid. I'm just saying, if you want one DPS to do as much stuff with as possible, the way he's coded, the way they set up his kit, he can be the most offensive physical melee AoE DPS and then switch to being a single target depending on the targets there. So in certain things, he's not going to be number 1, but very often he'll be number 1 or he'll be number 2. So if you compare him to Guan Yu is better in Matrix, but Nezha is right behind him, right? He's just literally right there. If you look at just general AoE DPS, Valara might be just ahead of him, but Nezha is right behind. And then Nezha gets to go be a very, very good single target unit, who, yeah, he's not Kagiri or Wukong with Awakenings, but he's right behind them. So he has to be there too. This is the final list. I hope it was worth the wait. I hope in the future you guys trust me when I say I've been working on something and I'm planning it out and it's going to come before the banner, because here you go, 2 days before, you have tons of time to go through this. And if you're watching this in the future, first off, let me know, say hi from the future in the comments. I'll try to say hi to everyone who posts, you know, a month out from this video and beyond, because I'm hoping, like with the other videos, this video can be a success and can be a general tier list for everyone moving forward, right? Because this is not something I do all the time, ranking every single normal legendary. For the people watching right now, when this video came out, if you need to know who to choose, literally go tier by tier. Tier 0, do you have all of them? Okay, move on to the next. Tier 0.5, do you have all of them? All right, move on to the next, so on and so on. It's basically a flowchart. Do you have these? No? Pick one of them. Do you have these? Yes? Move on to the next tier. Move down the list. I will say there's obviously some nuance account by account, so tomorrow I will make a video explaining how I approach deciding who to choose, and I'll tell you who I am choosing, because I haven't told anyone that. Kind of a secret. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Fastidious. I really hope you liked this. This was a ton of work. A huge thank you to Death, who set up this tier list maker tier sheet for me that I could move stuff around him. He uploaded all the images, so thank you, Death. And a huge thank you to my editor, Mitchell. This was 40 minutes and 23 seconds of raw footage, so he had to do a lot of editing. So thank you guys so much. Subscribe to the channel, share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.